Hello everyone, my name is Joshua. This is the 86th video on my video journal series. Today's date is Tuesday, the 5th of May, 2026. How's everyone been? I've been pretty good, thank you. And something I want to discuss with you today is electronic advertisements. Now, I'm just talking about those electronic billboards that you see around the city. Sorry, I was just chewing on a carrot earlier. You know, there's like massive electronic billboards, right? You see at like Central or Town Hall Station. Um, I don't like it. I think they contribute towards noise, um, pollution, visual, um, I guess, pollution as well, and they consume a lot of electricity and they emit a lot of heat. Because obviously when a lot of electricity is produced, it emits a lot of heat from the LCDs or the mini pixels or whatever display system that they use. And they always seem to be damaged. Like they always got like dead pixels in the corner. Um, Sometimes they're like completely black for a couple of seconds. Um, yeah, and I think, what's wrong with original, you know, billboard advertising, just regular paper or cardboard. Like, you know, I think when they first came out, electronic billboard advertisements, I think they were pretty cool. But people were like, "Oh man, this looks really neat. This must be a showstopper." But now I think they're just grown very, very rampantly, and now I pretty much see them everywhere and I've gotten sick of them. So I don't really mind just like sticker advertisements that you see on trains or buses or trams where they just put like this massive sticker on the side. I don't really mind it because you know, first of all, it's like not like an LCD screen. Especially taxis now, they now have like LCD screen on top. I don't like it. I like that when taxi cabs have like an advertisement on the back, like near where the boot of the car is. That looked a lot nicer than the massive ads that they have on top, especially with that like screen. I don't know why. It's just a craze. I think screens were first introduced so then like you can flip through multiple advertisements at once, but usually they just have like a static display now, so it must be a gimmick. And I guess like in a major area like a train station, for instance, you might want to like switch through multiple advertisements at once to get more revenue. But no, they just display like a single thing for hours, days, weeks on end. And it just makes me think, oh well, if you're not going to change it, then it's surely a gimmick. What's wrong with a regular, just traditional um, billboard advertisement? Why does it have to be electronic? It's like if you got rid of the King's Cross Coke sign here in Sydney, just put a massive electronic billboard instead. It'll just kill off the character. That's why people go to King's Cross. That's why people know about King's Cross, because of that electronic. Oh, sorry, the lack of that electronic billboard in replacement of that Coke sign. If they just put a massive electronic billboard there, then people will be like, oh yeah, there's nothing there. Just they wouldn't think about it, and it would just blend in with the rest of the environment. Obviously, the locals would be pissed, but that sign's iconic. It's like if you just got rid of what's another like famous sign around here in Sydney? It's like if you just like replace all the tiles. Sorry, this could sound unrelated. All the tiles of the Sydney Opera House, and you just put like LCD panels instead. Just so then you can play like ads on it 24/7. That'll just look tacky, right? And obviously, ads on the Opera House would look tacky if you ask me. But yeah, it was just not seem right, especially now in this city. Now they have like highway signs that have like a light panel behind it, so whenever you're like driving around at night, you just get like this huge beam of light, and it just eliminates. Oh yeah, like North Sydney that way. But I was like, what was wrong with the original highway, signs? Because they were made with a specific type of metal or material that when you shine a light at it, it reflects, kind of like high vis. What was wrong with those signs? Nothing. They looked nice, but now no, we're gonna put a massive white panel, LCD panel, or just like this useless electronic thingamajig, and you know, perhaps it'll make it easier. But no, you just display a static image. It is literally a waste of money. Even along the Harbour Bridge, they have them now, and I just think they look insanely tacky. Um, I know some of the lanes of the Harbour Bridge change during the day, or depending on like traffic flow and all of that. Um, but yet again, though, they even had like an old system. I watched this old documentary about Sydney, about like the Harbour Bridge, how they had like um, where the highway signs were along the Harbour Bridge. They had like this mini mechanism that would change so that the sign will say, "Oh yeah, turn left if you want to go to North Sydney." But then, if the lanes were to change, um, like a mini thing will pop up behind that sign and show like a new arrow directing where the new lanes were going. Yet again, I did a very poor explanation of that, but hopefully I can remember the name of that documentary or something. It's like from the 60s in Sydney. It was like a National Film Sound Archive or Pathé film or something like that. Um, but like, what was wrong with just the regular old highway signs on the Harbour Bridge? They look nice, but no, we gotta have all this electronic stuff now. And you know, I just think that the swarm of electronic advertisements in the city are just getting a little bit annoying. And now this is something I've seen in the last couple of weeks and months that I swear I've never seen before. It's like people on those motorcycles with trailers attached to them that have like an electronic billboard or just like a regular cardboard or paper one. And they just like drive around advertising a specific thing. Even trucks do it, where like a specific side of a truck has like an LCD or like dot matrix panel or whatever. And yeah, I think those are annoying as well. I remember the Chasers War and Everything did a skit about them in 2007, and I thought they were just a 2000s thing, but no, they still exist. And I was shocked when I saw one like a couple of months ago. Then I saw another one like not too long after that. I was like, it just contributes towards air pollution, noise pollution, increased CO2 emissions, which results in increased global, I guess the acceleration of global warming. And why not just like use that money to spend it on like bus advertisements, which are more effective, and trust me, they'll be a lot more cheaper than hiring a bunch of people to do a parade around the city in their motorcycles with a electronic billboard um, trailer. It's just, I think we need to make our cities look beautiful, nice, and clean. We don't need all this electronic billboards wasting our electricity, generating heat, and just being a strain on the eyes. Um, I think the less ads, the better. But we can be like the New York City subway, where they place ads like in, I guess, a neat and organized manner along the subway carriage. Instead of like with the 10 guys where they just like place it on the outside and it goes over the window frames and all that. I think buses and light rail here in Sydney having like the gold example of how to like do advertisements on public transport. Even the buses where it's just like the whole side is covered by one of those sticker ads. Those still look nicer than the electronic ads that you see in like train stations and the ones that you see on Tangaras. Or even just the ones where it's like a rectangle. It just takes up like pretty much a door space on that bus. Those are a lot less intrusive. And even on the light rail, where you got one, I guess, maybe two whole sides, of the light rail, where it's just like this massive like sticker ad. Those look a lot nicer than other placements of ads I've seen on public transport. Because I think um, first of all, it's like not like a massive screen emitting light at you, but I guess when it takes up the whole entire thing, if done correctly, it can look feasible. It can look pretty alright. So yeah, I don't really mind that, I guess, form of advertising. I guess it's like sort of similar to Melbourne where all the trams have like ads on them. I don't really mind that. But yeah, what I do mind is just ads that are placed inappropriately, basically. Using a massive electronic screen when you only got like one static image, or just putting stickers on the Tangara trains, but only putting like two ad stickers, and you're like, all right, well, two ad stickers. What was the point of you even placing the ad in the first place? Um, and yeah, it's just really weird. Like some Tangara trains I've been on have like very little ads, maybe like one or two or none at all. But then there's some which I've been on where there's like a lot of ads on them. I'm not saying we need to be like Tokyo or anything. In fact, when I went to Tokyo, I noticed that like on all the subways, like every square inch of space is just covered with ads and TVs and all that. It was insanely futuristic, but I got tired of those ads. Um, and I think it's kind of a distraction because when you're on the train, you want to know where all the security features are. You want to know where the emergency help button is or where to alert the driver. By having ads everywhere, it kind of distracts you from that. It makes it a little bit harder to find certain things, at least within my eyes. So yeah, and I guess that's just my opinion of things. Obviously, I don't hate ads or anything. In fact, I kind of like ads when they like do some certain things right or make it quirky or gimmicky. Not gimmicky, but like make it interesting, if you know what I mean. But I just hate the laziness of ads nowadays, where you just get like a massive electronic billboard and call it a day. You know, um, the steps at like Central Station near Eddy Avenue, the one that leads to Devonshire Street Tunnel. Um, they usually like place like these stickers along all the steps. So when you view it at a certain distance, it just shows like this gigantic ad on the staircase. I think that's really innovative, and they change it every like couple of weeks or months. And yet again, when you like stand from a specific distance, you see like this full picture. But when you walk closer, um, you'll see that's just like very long strips of like paper or um, stickers being placed beneath every single step. And I think that's like pretty cool. Um, it's not like having like LCD screens like beneath every single step. They'll just look ugly, and it'll get damaged really easily. Just like how the electronic ads at Central Station, like you can literally just feel the heat, emitting from them, and there's no like protective barrier or anything, which I just find a little bit dangerous, perhaps. But you know, um, that's just my, I guess, opinion on electronic billboards and advertisements and all that. Um, Excuse me. About to burp really loud there, but I didn't want to. I guess to like wrap this video up, I guess we need to keep our cities, I guess, ad free or just really like less ads, if you know what I mean. I guess like cities like New York and London, for instance, where you got Times Square and Piccadilly Circus, you got like these electronic billboards now. But if you look at old images of those parts of the city, those two districts, you'll see they have like all these original vintage signs and all that. They look a lot more appeasing than all the electronic billboards and stuff that you see today. Um, I guess same here in Sydney. I guess we've still got those original ads, but God forbid if anyone replaces a Coke sign with a massive like electronic screen. Maybe someone has already thought of that idea, but don't do it because yet again it just looks ugly, and it kills off the character. Um, and I guess also those ads that you see at train stations, those massive screens. I'll most probably get rid of them as well because um, noise pollution there, like pretty much noise and the fact that I don't want to be looking at a screen all day. I just want to break from the screen. And I guess to leave you with a wise quote today, I'll say this. What's a wise quote I can give you? It is Advertising is not what it seems. Not everything that glitters is gold. Sometimes we can be fooled by advertising, but it's important that you do your research and understand what the product or service being advertised to you is not only just useful, but do you need it? And is the advertisement being fully truthful? Now, that is usually going to be a no when it comes to the fully truthful bit, but um, I'll say do your research. Obviously, you ever bought like a Big Mac and in the pictures it looks really nice, but then when you receive it, it's like all squashed. I'm like, who just punches this Big Mac burger and just gets like a massive iron press, just to squeeze it, even though there's plenty of space in the carton. And I guess that's like a minor example, but you get the point. Um, I guess to be aware, buyer aware, buyer conscious. I know in Australia we've got pretty strong consumer laws, but I know elsewhere in the world, for instance, you can easily get scammed. And yeah, I guess um, advertisements can be extremely effective if done well. I guess all forms of ads are effective because you obviously talk about it, and you thinking about the ad further cements the point. But I feel like there's some ads that are like really memorable, and I feel like you know those type of ads or promotions or schemes or stunts or whatever. I feel like they're a lot more fondly remembered than just like a massive ad on an electronic billboard, for instance. Um, yeah, and I guess that's all I have to really say. I'll just be buyer aware. Not everything that glitters is gold, and most importantly, maybe join your local city council, or whatever, and just say, hey, we need to put less electronic billboards around the city. We need our cities to be livable, breathable, um, ad-free spaces. It's like if you put ads around like Martin Place, for instance. Maybe there's like a law regarding that, but uh, yeah, like it's like if you just put ads, it will just kill off the local character of Martin Place, all the old buildings, memorials, and um, you know, just nice stuff. It will just make it seem ugly if you just put billboards and electronic billboards everywhere, because you know there needs to be spaces in cities where you can catch a break from ads. It's like if you put ads in Hyde Park or on St. Mary's Cathedral or across the Harbour Bridge or Opera House. Those are places where you don't want to put ads. But you know, I feel like we should have put ads in um, electronic billboard ads at least in train stations. Um, maybe just have like one at like Central Station, but that's pretty much it. I think we should just have like the regular old paper um, billboard ones. Those were perfectly fine. They don't require any electricity, and yeah, I think they're just a lot better on the environment technically. Um, Even though they do waste paper and all that, but it's better than the constant absorption of electricity. But anyway, that's enough said. Hopefully, yeah, today was a little bit boring, but it was a little thing I was passionate about. Just electronic billboards and advertisements and how we need to, I guess, focus less on ads, but rather, ad free spaces. And if you were to put ads, just make a lot nicer, maybe less intrusive, but it really just depends on its implementation. Anyway, I guess I'll catch you later. Bye. See you. Take care. See you all tomorrow.